Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel where tech meets creativity, and in today's automation video we'll be looking at the global exception handler in UiPath. So basically a global exception handler, as we can see in my PowerPoint here, it handles unexpected exceptions globally triggered when the try catch is missing. We have looked at the try catch in the past, so if in case you're missing a try catch, a global exception handler can come in handy, and also it gives you a centralized error management, because you see try catches can be all over different places in your workflow, but with the global exception handler it gives you a centralized place where you can manage all your errors. We'll be seeing that in action. How does it work? Global exception handler has two predefined arguments that are really key. One of them is the ErrorInfo, which carries literally all the information that has been thrown with whichever activity within your workflow. So the ErrorInfo, we carry all that information. And then the result, which has the direction of out. So once you're done, the result of how you want the bot or your process to action when it encounters an error, will be seeing different actions that you can take after. You can abort, you can continue, you can ignore. We'll be looking at those. And the global exception handler, by default, it contains some predefined activities, as you will see, but you can add in additional activities as you want. Like, for example, what will be in the use case that we'll be looking at. So we'll be notifying ourselves via email when the error happens. This is our problem statement. We shall be simulating an error scenario using the UiPath throw activity. You have seen this in the past. You can use the throw activity to throw a customized exception and then handle the exception using the global exception handler, which will notify us via email. I'll go ahead and jump in. So I'll open my studio. So within my studio, in the projects panel on the left, I will right click. When I right click, I come select add. Then in the add, there is an option of what? Global handler. So when I click on global handler, this is my exception handler. We can only have one global exception handler per project, and also so that it comes with some predefined activities. As we can see, this is one of the arguments, the ErrorInfo. We saw that in our slides. We see this. We saw that the global exception handler contains predefined activities. Here it contains predefined activities. As you can see, we already have some activities here. We have a log. Then choose the action to be taken after the global exception handler steps in. So we saw this part of the result where we're saying it has an out direction used for determining the next behavior of the process when it encounters the error. So these are the different options. We have continue. We have ignore, the exception is rethrown. Ignore, the exception is ignored and the execution continues. Retry, the activity which through the exception is retried. Abort, the execution stops after running the current handler. So you see here in the result, if you're saying if the error info retry count is less than 0, then result is equal to retry action. So meaning, in case an exception occurs, an exception that the activity that has thrown that exception will be tried thrice. It will be more than once, up to when it is less than 3. That's when it will stop. Once it stops, then when it comes in the else, when this condition is met of a retry count less than 3, that's when we come to abort. So when we abort, once we abort, we want to send an email notification to ourselves. So I just come in the main, and I'll come into my activities panel. Then I type in throw, an activity called throw. Then I'll put it here. Then I'll say new new system. Could be business, any, because business rule exception, system exception, because we're just simulating, it's not a real scenario. I'm saying an exception, I'll say, just call it an exception, as occurred in the main workflow, right? So we have that an exception has occurred in the main workflow. That's the exception. So if I run, so the expectation is I'll just get a throw, sorry, an exception on my screen saying an exception has occurred in the main workflow. It's taking some bit of time. Yeah, so say throw an exception has occurred in the main workflow. If we continue, I'll get details. It's a business, an exception, business rule exception. So you see what is happening here. Let me do this. You see that we're getting different retries. An exception has occurred. This is the first time it threw. Then it threw again the exception. This is the second time, third time, and so, first time, second time, third time. So this is the global exception handler already playing its part. So if to show you that it's the global exception, so if I do this, if I stop, then I come into projects, and then for now, let me first delete this global exception handler. So if I run, so we're getting an exception has occurred. If I continue, it comes out and I get this. This is when there is no global exception handler. So you see, once I have my exception, it is just turned back to me to the screen. So when I come back here, right click, add global handler. Even before doing anything, because it mentions that it has predefined activities. Even before doing anything, you saw that it has already been retrying several times. So in the interest of time, so I'll just go ahead and jump in. So I'll get this, drag it here, then come to my activities, then look for send Outlook activity, because I said I'll be notifying myself by Outlook. So I'll come and pick this, send email, put it here. So then I'll drag both these, put them back here. So this is a new activity because we haven't looked at this. So send mail activity. It is in this. It is part of this dependency. So if you're dragging it here for the first time, you have some reinstallation of some dependencies that will be installed. So this will be the UiPath Microsoft Office activity. This is where this activity is send email. So you have to add a connection to get it working. So I already set up, but there's some configuration that you have to do. Let me do. I already have a connection here, but I'll just show you. So let me say add new connection. Click on add new connection. So open your cloud, right? Cloud.UiPath. Then you're able to authenticate from here, right? I already did this. I won't be doing it again. So you come on authenticate here. You click connect. So once you click connect, then this will connect your Outlook email to UiPath, and you'll be able to use it within UiPath. So for my case, I'll just be selecting here default. So then to the message. So whom will I be sending the message to? I'll be sending it to myself. Let me come here, open UiPath. Then this is the email I'll be sending to. Copy it, paste it here. Then the subject would be, this should be string. So I'm saying error, say error occurred, space, then concatenate it. Remember that this argument, the error info, which is as a direction of indirection, contains all the information about the error that was thrown and the workflow that failed. So I'll come here, I'll say error info, right? See the dot exception dot message. So the dot message gives us a brief explain a brief description of the error that has happened. Then in the body, I'll say I'll just do this in the body. I'll just use the same argument. I'll do this in the body. So I'll come here, open it in expression editor. So I'll just type in the error details dot exception as it comes. I won't be just typing the message, but the entire message, but the entire error. So I can say it can be like the exception below caused the failure of the automation, right? So this is what we're going with. I'll add in a new line, environment, dot new line. Yeah, so that will be a new line. Like that. Object is not defined, string and exception. So I'll fix using UiPath Copilot, and we good. So it just append this message. Cool. So I'll save. That's the beauty of AI. So I'll save, and this should be sending us, notifying us of the error that has opened. So if I go ahead and run, so the expectation is the main workflow is going to throw an exception. So when you throw the exception, the global handler will come, do its thing, check this condition. Up to when this condition has been satisfied, it will abort, and then after aborting, I'll be notified, and I expect to get a message in my mailbox here. Yeah, so it will be coming into my mailbox here. As you can see, currently it is empty. So when I come back to my exception global handler, I have to tweak this. So you have this option of save as a draft, so it can help you just formulate a draft for approval purposes, so that you can always come back, validate whether the message has been crafted. Let me say you have incorporated in the message crafting using the large language models, like you craft your message using ChatGPT. You might need to validate before just sending it out, so that this feature can really come in handy. But for my case, I'll be clicking false and checking true, then I'll click false because I want it to automatically send out the email. So I'll go ahead and test it out. So I'm running, fingers crossed. Control F5. So you see in my so it has run, but as well if you look here in my output panel, you're able to see that this retry mechanism of the exception of the global handler is doing its part and it's coming in handy. This part where we're saying this part where we're saying result error action dot retry, and it's retrying less than 3 times. So this was the first time, second time, third time, because the initial exception that is done by activity, first retry, second retry, then the third retry. So if I come into my email here, you're able to see that the email has been received saying error occurred, an exception. The exception below, because this is our body and this is the subject that we set. So this is how the global exception handler can be really useful. So in the event that you have certain, because it could be in the event where you cannot handle you cannot cater for each and every exception, because you may have a lot of unclean code where you're having a lot of retry catches here and there, retries. So a global exception handler can really come in handy there, where you centrally organize and you handle your exceptions in a unique and consistent format. So let me know if you have any questions by dropping them in the chat. And also, if you did find the video useful, consider subscribing and also hitting that like button, such that Sherry is notified every time I upload a new video. I'm out, and see you in the next video.